Sorry for that. This one, as video was interrupted, I had to cut the the topic was not completed. So in this video will complete. So I was telling about the management. So management, when we are seeing, so normally in this also there is no proper treatment for this. Normally we have to go with measurement of the periodical head examination should be done, and next we can go with rehabilitation service. Like rehabilitation services should be given for neurological symptoms, like for correcting the balancing, for correcting the coordinating, for correcting the speech defects. So all these things rehabilitation services has to be provided. So this is usually the management. There is no proper management for this, especially like there is no proper management, just we have to go with rehabilitation services that is usually provided for the neurological, reducing the neurological symptoms that is usually present. Okay, reducing the neurological symptoms that is usually present. So this is usually about this megaloencephaly. So this is about this congenital malformation, anencephaly, microcephaly and megaloencephaly. So we'll start with the next topic, that is cerebral aneurysm. So what is the cerebral aneurysm? Cerebral aneurysm is also known as brain aneurysm. Okay, cerebral aneurysm is also known as brain aneurysm. It is usually defined as an abnormal abnormal bulging of an artery in the brain. Okay, it is abnormal bulging of an artery in the brain. So this aneurysm can occur in anywhere in the brain. Okay, it can occur anywhere in the brain, but it usually occurs in the artery which is underside of the brain. Okay, which is underside of the brain. So that is usually cerebral aneurysm. It is also called as brain aneurysm. Okay, cerebral aneurysm is also called as brain aneurysm. So this is usually there will be abnormal bulging of an artery in the brain. Okay, there will be abnormal bulging of an artery in the brain. Okay, there will be abnormal bulging of an artery in the brain, and this cerebral aneurysm can occur anywhere in the brain. Okay, it can occur anywhere in the brain, but usually it runs between the underside of the brain. Okay, it usually runs between the underside of the brain. So this aneurysm, when it gets ruptured, okay, then as this aneurysm when it gets ruptured, it causes bleeding in the brain. Okay, it usually causes bleeding in the brain. So this aneurysm when it gets ruptured, okay, this aneurysm will be discovered. Okay, this aneurysm like this aneurysm will not be discovered first, but this aneurysm will be discovered only when it gets ruptured, because when it gets ruptured it bleeds. Okay, when it gets ruptured it will bleed. So that is usually about the cerebral aneurysm. Cerebral aneurysm, it is also called as brain aneurysm, which is usually it is usually abnormal bulging of an artery in the brain, and this can occur anywhere in the brain, but it usually runs between the underside of the brain. So this cannot be noticed, and this usually discovered, or it can be noticed only, that is cerebral aneurysm can be noticed only when it gets ruptured, because when it gets ruptured it usually bleeds. Okay, it usually bleeds. Okay, it usually bleeds into the brain. So that is usually about the cerebral aneurysm. Okay, that is usually about the cerebral aneurysm. So what might be the causes for the cerebral aneurysm? So what might be the causes for the cerebral aneurysm? It can be due to congenital. Okay, the cerebral aneurysm can be due to congenital, or it might be due to trauma, or if there is any heavy consumption of alcohol, drugs, or if she smokes heavily. So it is usually congenital, trauma, or if there is heavy consumption of drugs, alcohol, that is usually there. Smoking will be there, or if the person is suffering from hypertension, or if there is any kind of viral infection. So if there is any kind of viral infection, so that is usually there, or if they are having atherosclerosis. Okay, if they are suffering from atherosclerosis, so that time also they can have the cerebral aneurysm. Or if after menopause, if there is low estrogen level. Okay, after menopause, if they are having low estrogen levels, then also this can be seen in the women, that is cerebral aneurysm can be seen in the women. That is usually other, or if there is any family history of cerebral aneurysm. So these are usually the causes of this cerebral aneurysm, that is congenital, trauma, hypertension, if there is suffering from atherosclerosis, or heavy consumption of alcohol, drugs, or smoking. Then in case of family history of cerebral cerebral aneurysm, okay, cerebral aneurysm, or in case of, like, if there is low estrogen level after menopause. Okay, if there is low estrogen level after menopause. Okay, so that is usually about this causes of cerebral hemisphere. So next is cerebral aneurysm. Okay, cerebral aneurysm. So next is pathophysiology. So what is happening in this is that it is mainly occurs due to etiological factors. Okay, it mainly occurs due to etiological factors, and due to this etiological factors, normally there will be weakness in the vessel wall. So etiological factors which I have told now, causative, or whatever the causative factors which I have told before this, that usually due to that, So normally due to this what happen, there will be weakness in the vessel walls. Okay, there will be weakness in the vessel wall. Due to this there will be abnormal dilation in the wall of the artery. Okay, due to this there will be abnormal dilation in the wall of the artery. So first is due to etiological factor that usually leads to abnormal weakness of the vessel wall. Okay, there will be weakness in the vessel wall. Due to this there will be abnormal dilation in the wall of the arteries. Okay, there will be abnormal dilation in the wall of the artery. So then due to this there will be rupture of the cerebral aneurysm. Okay, there will be rupture of the cerebral aneurysm. So this is occurring mainly due to intracranial aneurysm, that is usually due to intra-aneurysm pressure. Okay, it is due to intra-aneurysm pressure. Okay, this rupture occurs due to intra-aneurysm pressure. So that usually this usually leaks into the subarachnoid space. Okay, the bleeding occurs and bleeding leaks into the subarachnoid space, which increases ICP and ischemia. Okay, which increases ICP and ischemia. So due to this there will be subarachnoid hemorrhage. Okay, due to this there will be subarachnoid hemorrhage. So what is happening is that due to etiological factors. Okay, due to etiological factors there will be weakness in the wall of the arteries, and due to this there will be abnormal dilation in the wall of the arteries, and that usually leads to rupture of the cerebral aneurysm. This is due to increased intra-aneurysm pressure. That usually leads bleeding occurs in the subarachnoid space. That due to this it increases in the intracranial pressure increases, as well as that usually leads to subarachnoid hemorrhage. Okay, that usually leads to subarachnoid hemorrhage. Understood? Mainly due to etiological factors, that usually leads to weakness in the vessel wall. Okay, that usually leads to weakness in the vessel wall. Due to this it leads to dilation of the abnormal dilation of the walls of the arteries. That leads to rupture of cerebral aneurysm, and this cerebral rupture it usually occurs due to increased intra-aneurysm pressure. That usually leads to bleeding occurs, and bleeding occurs in the subarachnoid space, and where it increases intracranial pressure and ischemia occurs, and that usually leads to subarachnoid hemorrhage. Okay, that usually leads to subarachnoid hemorrhage. So this is usually about this pathophysiology of cerebral aneurysm. So next is clinical symptoms. So what might be the symptoms that you can see in this? So symptoms mainly I have told that bleeding usually occurs. Okay, bleeding usually occurs. Then due to this what happen, headache will be very severe. Okay, headache will be very severe. Nausea, vomiting will be there. Headache will be there. Nausea, vomiting will be there. Neck pain will be there, as well as the neck becomes stiff. Okay, neck pain will be there, as well as the neck becomes stiff. Then blurred vision will be there, or double vision will be there. Okay, blurred vision will be there, or double vision will be there. Then usually they will be having pain behind the eye. Okay, they will be having pain behind the eye or above the eye. Okay, they will be having pain behind the eye or above the eye. So that is usually there. Then they will be very sensitive to light. Okay, they will be very sensitive to light. So the symptoms usually it is seen that they will be the beginning, usually the symptoms usually they see that they will be having headache, nausea, vomiting will be there, blurred vision will be there, and also they will be having pain in the eye, above the eye or behind the eye. Then the neck will become stiff, as well as they will be having heavy neck pain will be there. And also you can see some sensitivity. There will be loss of there will be very sensitivity to light. Okay, there will be very sensitivity to light. So other symptoms that you can see is that speech communication will be, they will be having difficulty to talk. Okay, they will be having difficulty in speech communication. Then they will be having problem in cognitive function like thinking, judging, reasoning. So all these cognitive functions also they will be delayed, or they will be having problem in that. And then memory will be, they will be having short term memory loss, or they will be having memory loss. Their behavior also changes. Okay, their behavior also changes. Okay, these are usually the symptoms that is usually seen in case of cerebral aneurysm. So what is that? Headache, nausea, vomiting, stiff neck or neck pain will be there, pain in the eye or backside of the eye, above the eye. Then they will be having vision problem will be there, double vision or blurred vision will be there. And next there will be sensitivity to light. Okay, they will be having sensitivity to light, and also they will be, so it is usually about this symptoms that is usually seen. Along with this you can see some cognitive difficulties will be there, functional difficulties will be there, speech difficulties will be there, their behavior will changes, and also they will be having memory loss. Okay, these are usually the symptoms that is usually seen in case of cerebral aneurysm. So what are the diagnosis we have to do? CT scan, MRI scan we have to do only of the brain. CT scan and MRI scan is done. Blood test has to be done to check whether the person is anemic or not. So that is usually done. that is usually done. Then we have to go with cerebral angiography. Okay, we have to check out the artery. Okay, visualize the artery. Cerebral angiograph should be done. Then we have to go with electroencephalogram. Okay, we have to go with electroencephalogram. So these are the diagnostic evaluation is usually done. So normally history collection and physical examination is compulsory for everything. Other than that, we go with cerebral angiography, electroencephalography, CT scan and MRI scan, as well as blood test has to be done. So this is the diagnostic evaluation that usually we do in case of cerebral aneurysm. So what is the management? So in case of management, depending upon the symptoms or depending on the cause, usually we do, like if the person is having IPS due to hypertension, if this is due to hypertension, then we have to reduce the hypertension. Then we go with administering them nitroprusside. Okay, we have to go with administering them nitroprusside. Calcium channel blockers have to be administered like nimodopin. Okay, calcium channel blockers have to be administered like nimodopin. Or like if seizures are developed, okay, if they develop seizures, then we have to give them carbamazepine to control seizures. Okay, we have to give them carbamazepine to control seizures. Okay, carbamazepine should be controlled seizures. Other than that, the bed should be elevated. Okay, other than that, in a precautionary methods, okay, the precautionary treatment that we go with that, we have to elevate the bed, elevate the bed rest. Okay, we have to complete bed rest should be given with elevation of head at 30 degrees. Okay, we have to elevate the 30 degrees. Intravenous fluid should be administered, oxygen should be administered, analgesic should be given for pain relief. Okay, analgesic should be given for pain relief. So these are usually the management that usually we do. So normally we have to administer antihypertensive drugs like nitroprusside should be given. Calcium channel blockers should be administered. Okay, calcium channel blockers should be administered like nimodopine should be administered. Seizures, if the person is having seizures, then anti-seizure drugs should be given like carbamazepine should be given. Other than that, precautionary treatment that we usually give is that we have to give complete bed rest for the patient with head should be elevated. IV fluid should be given. Analgesic should be given to reduce the pain, as well as analgesic should be given, as well as analgesic should be given. So this is usually about this the medication that is usually we give. So next is surgery. In case of surgery, we go with surgical clipping. Okay, we go with surgical clipping where neurosurgeon will open the skull. Okay, neurosurgeon will open the skull, find out the aneurysm. Okay, find out the aneurysm, and usually he places a clip. Okay, after identifying the aneurysm, he places a clip so that it blocks the blood supply to the aneurysm. Okay, it blocks the blood supply to the aneurysm. So that is usually about the surgical management that usually we give it as surgical clipping, where neurosurgeon will open the skull and identify the aneurysm and usually places a clip so that it blocks the blood supply to the aneurysm. So this is usually about this management. We go with medical management and surgical management. Medical management, it is usually seen that they will be having like administration of antihypertensive drugs, that is nitroprusside it is given. Calcium channel blockers should be given like nimodopine should be given. Seizures, if it is there, like carbamazepine given. Other than that, precautionary care will be given like complete bed rest with head elevation of 30 degree, administration of analgesics and fluid should be administered. Then surgical management, we go with surgical clipping, where a clip will be placed so that it blocks the blood supply to the aneurysm. So this is about the cerebral aneurysm. So what is cerebral aneurysm? It is nothing but it is usually called as brain aneurysm. Okay, it is also called as brain aneurysm. There will be abnormal bulging of an artery in the brain. Okay, so that can occur anywhere in the brain. So normally it can be identified only when it bleeds, when it gets ruptured, because bleeding usually occurs in the brain. So this is usually about this cerebral aneurysm.